From the KBVR TV studio on the campus of Oregon State University, this is the Beaver Sports Show.
Welcome back, Beaver Nation, to another year of the Beaver Sports Show. It's great to be back bringing you the very latest news in Oregon State athletics. The Beaver football team picked up their first win of the season this past weekend as they took on the Arizona Wildcats.
The men's soccer and volleyball teams also played at home this weekend, but unfortunately did not have the same success that the football team had.
Alongside me tonight is Nick Charbonnier. I'm Boon Kruger, and we'll have more highlights from the OSU weekend when we come back. You're watching the Beaver Sports Show on KBVR. Stay tuned. The wrestling team got back to their winning ways.
So what's next for Calvin Haynes?
Where we show the world watching the Beaver Sports Show on KBVR.
Oregon State entered Research Stadium this past Saturday at 0-4 and in search of their first win as they went up against Pac-12 South Division foe, the Arizona Wildcats. Having lost 6 straight games overall, Mike Riley and company were ready to pull out all the trick plays in orange jerseys to ensure their first win since November 20th of last year against USC. The game featured 2 struggling teams as Arizona ran onto the Research Stadium turf at 1-4 and 0-3 in Pac-12 conference play, with their only win being against Northern Arizona, an FCS team. The game started out inauspiciously for the Beavers as quarterback Sean Mannion threw the ball behind his intended receiver into the hands of Arizona cornerback Shaquille Richardson, which set up the Wildcats with great field position at the Oregon State 28-yard line. However, the Beaver defense held firm and forced an Arizona 3-and-out, and Arizona kicker Alex Zendejas missed wide left, and the Wildcats let a golden opportunity slip through their fingers. After throwing an interception on the first drive, Sean Mannion settled down and completed 12 consecutive passes, including this beautiful strike on 2nd and 12 from the 6-yard line to Jordan Bishop for a pickup of 25 yards and a Beaver first down. Then on 3rd and 9 at the OSU 32, Mannion completes a pass to the exciting freshman playmaker Brandon Cooks for 12 yards and another Beaver first down. OSU would finish 3 for 3 on 3rd down conversions on the drive as it extended into the start of the second quarter. First and goal from the Arizona 9-yard line, Jovan Stevenson rushes to the right for a pickup of 8 yards as he was ruled down at the 1-yard line. On the very next play, though, Stevenson finishes his business and punches it in for a touchdown, as the Beavers take a 7-0 lead with 11:38 left in the second quarter. On the next Arizona drive, with Wildcats facing a 4th and 2 from the 41-yard line, Arizona head coach Mike Stoops elects to punt the ball, but OSU gets through the line and Beaver fullback Clayton North blocks the punt and then recovers it and runs it in for a 41-yard touchdown. OSU takes a 14-0 lead with just under 9 minutes left in the second quarter. Arizona quarterback Nick Foles would then lead Arizona on a 7-play, 80-yard drive that was capped off by his beautiful 28-yard touchdown pass to Dan Buckner. The Wildcats would then miss an extra point, but that score narrowed the Beaver lead to 14-6 with 6.5 minutes left in the half. However, the Beavers were not done scoring just yet as kicker Trevor Romaine connected on a 37-yard field goal, and Beaver linebacker Michael Doctor intercepted a Foles pass at the Arizona 45-yard line and returned it 6 yards. Mannion would lead the Beavers down the field as he completed a nice pass to Jovan Stevenson for a pickup of 16 yards. He then found Marcus Wheaton for a pickup of 15 yards, and OSU was back in the red zone. Mannion would cap off this drive with a nice 3-yard touchdown pass to tight end Joe Halahouni, and the Beavers were feeling pretty good with a 24-6 lead. Mike Riley, however, had some more trickeration up his sleeve as he had Romaine squib kick the ball, and OSU defensive end Dylan Wynn recovered the fumble, which set up a 40-yard field goal by Trevor Romaine that went through the uprights as time expired to end the half, and the Beavers went into the locker room with a 27-6 lead. Down 30-6, Arizona veteran quarterback Nick Foles would lead the Wildcats on an 8-play, 83-yard drive that was capped off by a nice 13-yard run up the middle by running back Keola Antolin. The Wildcats would then convert the 2-point conversion to cut the lead to 30-14. The Arizona defense would then bear down as Shaquille Richardson picked up off his second pass of the game and returned it 28 yards into the end zone for another Wildcat touchdown, and all of a sudden it was a 10-point game. The fourth quarter saw the Wildcats offense driving again as they dominated much of the second half. This time getting into the action was Arizona running back Kadeem Carey as he punched it in from 1 yard out to cut the Beaver lead again to 30-27 with 11 long minutes left in the game. 2 drives later, though, Mannion would lead the Beavers on a 9-play, 43-yard drive that took just over 4 minutes off the clock. Mannion went 5 for 5 on the drive as he connected with 4 different receivers before finding Joe Halahuni in the end zone again for a 2-yard touchdown pass as the Beavers took a 37-27 lead with 5:22 left in the game. Arizona wouldn't be able to answer, and the Beavers picked up their first win of the season with the final score being Oregon State 37, Arizona 27. The key players for OSU were quarterback Sean Mannion as he finished the game 32 for 41 for 267 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jovan Stevenson also had a huge game as he netted 99 yards rushing, averaging nearly 6 yards per carry and carrying the rock into Pater 1 time. The mood in the press conference was much better after picking up their first win of the season. Sean Mannion, Clayton York, and Mike Riley all spoke to the press after the game.
You know, and to come out here and get a good win against a great opponent like that, it's a great feeling.
Just had nothing to lose, you know. We threw all the cards in the deck and people played. Everybody showed up, and you know, we didn't let our record dictate how we played. We just played our game, and that's just showed up on the field.
Never happened in real life. Can you take us through the whole thing?
I mean, I didn't really realize it was happening until after it happened. But I mean, the game plan was to rush the A gaps. I was fortunate enough that it was open and put my hands up and happened to block it and pick it up and ran with it.
So it was a punt block play then?
It wasn't specifically designed to be a block, but the game plan was, you know, if you can get through, put your hands up, see if you can get a hand on it, and that's what happened.
Good. I was really proud of our team and coaching staff. There's no doubt about it. You know, even though we hadn't had a win, there's no doubt this team from Game 1 to today is improved every week, and I'm really proud of that. And I'm glad we won, and I think that's good for these kids. And I got to tip my hat to Arizona because once again, they came from way behind and came roaring back and made it a heck of a football game. And that says a lot about Mike and his program and those kids over there and that quarterback. So.
Well, the Beavers were able to pick up their first win of the season last Saturday as they got the 37-27 victory over the Arizona Wildcats. Nick, OSU did a lot of things right last Saturday. What were the big keys to you?
Well, I think one of the most important things was that our rushing game finally stepped up since Sacramento State. You know, Jovan Stevenson really had a golden game with 99 yards and a touchdown, so he really led the way for them.
Definitely, and Sean Mannion also had a big game. He was 32 for 41. He had 12 consecutive completions after throwing his first pick to Shaquille Richardson of Arizona. You know, he really settled down, it seemed like, at the quarterback position. He was making great reads, stepping up in the pocket, you know, looking down to his second and third receivers. And, you know, he led OSU on a lot of big drives and kept OSU in the game. OSU jumped out to a 30-6 lead before Arizona came storming back. But now BYU comes to Research Stadium, and it's a rematch from the 2009 Las Vegas Bowl when BYU really put a beat down on the Beavers, 44-20. You know, it's going to be a revenge game for Oregon State. A lot of players that are on this Beaver team were on that team a couple years ago. You know, what are the keys going to be for the Beavers to get a win Saturday?
Well, speaking of Sean Mannion and his passing game, we're a little bit better as far as passing goes, so I think we're going to have to keep that going. And we're a little bit worse when it comes to rushing, but, you know, Jovan Stevenson really had a great game, and I think he's going to have to step up again in this game on Saturday. to keep those BYU offensive numbers down.
I would definitely agree. Also, the Beaver defense is going to have to keep an eye on Riley Nelson, who is the new BYU quarterback, replacing Jake Heaps last game. He's a mobile quarterback. He can move around in the pocket, and we've seen OSU struggle against mobile quarterbacks. Jeff Toole comes to mind for Washington State. He really burned OSU last season in the Cougars' upset over Oregon State. Nick, do you have a prediction for Saturday?
You know, I'm going to have to say with the Mannion-Stevenson combination, I'm going to go 27-21 Beavers.
I like it. I like it. So the Beavers are going to take on the BYU Cougars 1 p.m. on Saturday. Tickets are still available, so make sure you get your ticket and go to the game. All right, so that's good.
Looking to maintain their momentum that they got from upsetting the University of Washington, the men's soccer team took on 20th-ranked San Diego State and 15th-ranked UCLA at Paul Lorenz Field this past weekend. Friday night pitted the Beavers against the Aztecs of San Diego State. The Beavers largely outplayed the Aztecs as they had 17 shots, including 6 on goal, but were only able to get 1 goal as they fell 3-1. After their tough loss to the Aztecs, the Beavers looked to rebound Sunday afternoon against the UCLA Bruins and improved their 3-6-1 record. Beaver Sports Show's reporter Jenna Lade has more from Sunday's game. Jenna?
Hi, I'm Jenna Lade here today at Paul Lorenz Field to try and watch the Beavers bounce back from a loss Friday night with a win against the 15th-ranked UCLA Bruins.
OSU would score early in the game on a John Swinson goal, but UCLA would bounce back with lots of offensive pressure. OSU keeper Steve Spangler played a solid game and had some key first-half saves like this one. The Beavers would get some offense here on a ball to forward Emery Welshman. The Bruins tied the game late in the first half with a Kellen Rose goal. The Beavers would try to get through the UCLA D late in the game off 2 good crosses by Roberto Farfan.
And after a hard-fought match, the Beavers were beat by a 90th minute goal by UCLA with the final score being 2-1.
After Friday's loss to the Cardinal, things certainly didn't get easier as the Beavers took on another top-ranked opponent in the 4th-ranked California Golden Bears, who entered the match with a 17-2 record. While the Beavers showed flashes early, they were unable to sustain their level of play and came up short again. With more on Sunday's match against the Golden Bears, here's Sports Show reporter Kylie Martin.
The OSU volleyball team was matched up against the number 4 Cal Bears this past Sunday at Gill Coliseum, but fell short after 4 sets, losing 1-3. The Lady Beavs started off strong in the first set, winning 25-23, and came close in the second with a score of 19-25, but seemed to lose their momentum after the break and continued the losing streak in the 3rd and 4th sets with scores of 14-25 and 15-25. While there were a couple times that the Beavers led by 4 or more, they had to compete with tied-up scores 7 times throughout the sets. Leading in double-doubles were juniors Camille Saxton and Megan McBride. Outside hitter Saxton was the only player to earn double-digit points in the game and had the highest number of kills with 10, along with 4 spikes, 2 assists, and 17 digs, while setter McBride had 26 assists, 5 kills, 4 spikes, and 6 blocks. Second for leading in digs was Becky Defoe with 16 and 4 spikes. Also with top numbers for spikes were freshmen Karina Maumert and Erica Nassar with 4 each. Erica was also tied up with Laura Schott for second leaders in kills. As a team, the Beavers had 39 kills, 74 digs, 26 errors, and 165 total attempts, along with 51 points. The Beavers are now 11-7 for the season and 3-5 in the Pac-12. They will match up against number 2 UCLA and number 5 USC this weekend in LA.
Fresh off their disappointing loss to 3rd-ranked UCLA on October 2nd, the Beavers headed to the Arizona desert looking to regain their momentum. Going into Friday's match against Arizona State in Tempe, the Beavers' record was 8-3-1. Sports Show reporter Nicole Ramsey has more on the Beavers' weekend in the sun.
Last fall, the Oregon State women's soccer team made history, posting their best record and reaching the NCAA tournament for just the 3rd time in program history. With the 2011 season underway and momentum at their backs, the Lady Beavs are picking up right where they left off. Over the weekend, Oregon State added 2 more wins to put their record at 10-3-1. The first came on Friday when the Beavs played host to the Arizona State Sun Devils. In the 9th minute, Oregon State's Chelsea Buckland slipped the ball through the Arizona State defense to teammate Jenna Richardson, who found the back of the net to make the score 1-0. Throughout the half, the Sun Devils challenged Oregon State, outshooting them 4-3, but never got one past OS goalkeeper Colleen Boyd. Going into the second, the Beavers were looking to extend their lead and did so again with the help of Buckland and Richardson. With another assist, Buckland found Richardson in the box, who knocked in goal number 2. Oregon State coach Linus Rhodes said of his players, "I think Chelsea and Jenna are starting to play together much better. They understand each other and they complement each other on the field. Things really took shape tonight for those girls." After this physical battle, which included 29 combined fouls, the Beavers came out on top with another victory. But their work wasn't done yet as they traveled to Tucson to take on the Arizona Wildcats. Starting the first half off slow, Oregon State had trouble getting past the Arizona goalkeeper. Although the Beavs outshot the Wildcats 6-5, both teams went into halftime tied at 0. However, it didn't take long for the Lady Beavs to take control of the match once the second half began. In the 54th minute, the ball was played to the feet of Beaver midfielder Haley Shaw, who sent the ball to Ashley Seal for the first and only goal of the game. In the second half of the matchup, the Beavers outshot Arizona 7-3 and helped put their conference record at 4-1. Women's soccer will be back in action next Friday as they travel to Salt Lake City to take on the Utah Utes at 6 p.m.
Phoenix and Tucson. For what? To beat ASU and U of A. Game day! Woo!
Why are you excited?
To win.
Why are you excited?
Hometown swag. Go us.
I'm gonna score with my foot.
I got a super plus.
Well, it for sure was a dirty game. It was very rough, and I think we were able to keep our heads together and come away with the win. It was nice.
Okay, Jen, 2 goals tonight. How do you feel?
I feel like it was a team effort and we kept our composure, and that was most important. I just have to put some easy finishes away.
What our team does.
Do you believe in love after love? I can feel something inside me saying, whenever we're meant to be together, I'll be there and you'll be near.
They're working out. I just figure everyone just told their roommate. Really shallow. I'm liking it.
What do we need them for?
So we can get cut points for all the tickets.
Hello.
I never actually thought that was something that would happen, but like, he's right now.
First for the Oregon State Beavers. Starting it forward, number 3, Jenna Richardson.
Let's go, Jen!
Let's go, Jen!
Yes, Jenna! Okay, Colleen.
No.
Yes, Mel?
Come on.
Yes, Mel?
I am from Phoenix, Arizona, and now you know what, I didn't choose to go to either Arizona school because we beat both of them.
Only goal of the game, how'd it feel?
Felt pretty good. It was finally a good play, and we needed to score, so.
How do you feel about the weekend overall?
I feel 2 wins on the road is always a good thing.
This song just, it gets to my heart. I love this one.
Hey, girl.
Aspiring athletes all grow up dreaming of playing professional sports, but the sad truth is most of us will never play beyond the high school level. For those talented enough to play collegiately, the dream of playing professionally continues. However, the odds of a college football player getting drafted by an NFL team is still staggeringly low. Approximately 1 in 50, or 1.7% of NCAA senior football players will get drafted by a National Football League team, according to the National Collegiate Athletic Association. Sports show reporter Amanda Caraway has a story on some of the few former Beavs who are making a name for themselves in the NFL.
OSU has consistently produced some quality NFL players over the years, especially under the guidance of head coach Mike Riley. There are currently 21 OSU alum a part of teams in the NFL, and 16 of them have been active this season. One of those players is Buffalo Bills linebacker Nick Barnett. Barnett, who has started every game this year for the Bills, had a big game this past weekend against Michael Vick and the Philadelphia Eagles. He recorded 3 tackles and 2 interceptions, one of which he returned for a touchdown. Barnett has 42 tackles on the year and is a key part of the Bills' aggressive defense. Another former Beav is also part of the Bills' defense this year. Defensive tackle Dwan Edwards has played in 5 games this season with 2 starts and has racked up 18 tackles. Running back Jaquiz Rogers, a player whose name we all recognize, is also seeing the field this year. Quiz was picked up by the Atlanta Falcons in last year's draft and has been playing time throughout this season. He has racked up 60 yards on 14 carries and 62 yards on 6 catches. Cornerback James Dockery made the Cleveland Browns practice squad after last year's draft, which is a big accomplishment for any player. He has appeared in all 4 games this season for the Browns. Quarterback Matt Moore will likely see more playing time this year for Miami Dolphins since starter Chad Henne was injured earlier in the year. Moore is 17 for 26 for 167 yards this season. All of these former OSU players are now making their mark in the NFL and are still making Beaver Nation proud.
5 members of the Oregon State men's golf team opened the season playing at the Prestige at PGA West in La Quinta, California. The 5 members were Nick Sherwood, Scott Kim, Alex Moore, Casey King, and the Beaver Sports Show's very own David Fink. With more on the golf team's weekend, here's David Fink.
Hi, I'm here with Scott Kim, our freshman on the Oregon State golf team. We're here in Palm Springs for the Prestige, and tomorrow is the first day. And Scotty, your first day of the practice round of the tournament.
Yeah.
Just tell me briefly how it went.
It was good. It was fun. The course seemed to be in really good shape. Reminded me back home a little bit, desert. I don't think there's that much wrong that can go out there, as long as you have control of your golf ball. It should be pretty good.
All right, and Scotty is a freshman, and we do call him by another name. And Scotty, why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself?
Well, my name's Scott Kim from Richland, Washington, but when I was younger, I was a little bit chubbier, and the head pro at my golf course nicknamed me Cheeks, because whenever I smiled, I had pretty big cheeks, and Alex Moore on the team, he's been calling me that since I was 10, and now he's brought it over here, and everyone on the Oregon State team called me Cheeks, even coaches.
How's it going? So we finished the first day of our first tournament of the year. Early we were looking good, so currently after the first round we find ourselves kind of sitting back, but not too bad. We're tied for 10th. We're 15 shots out of first, which can easily be made up with 4 people on that course. And so Scotty, your first tournament's done. How'd it go?
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I kind of got off to a bad start, 2 over through 4, but it's just golf, right?
Yeah.
And I just stayed calm and played through, and then ended up shooting 32 even par. Pretty good for my first round.
There you go. Scotty chipped in for eagle today.
Yeah.
Told out.
It was let's see. It was par 5. I laid up from the second shot, so I had 270 in. So I had right for my second shot. So for my third shot, I had 80 yards in. Perfect little slope behind the green or behind the hole. And I hit my hard 60-degree, used the slope, and just went right in. Perfect.
How's it going? So we finished the second day of golf today, and it started off really promising. That back 9 is a little easier than the front 9.
Yeah, definitely.
And we had it going low for a little bit, but the course got the best of us again, and we tapered off towards the end, and we only finished 3 under for the day, which is good. Under par for a team total is moving in the right direction, especially in our first tournament of the year. So tomorrow we hope to go low and keep going low, and I think we really have a chance to pass some of these teams ahead of us that are ranked higher than us, but to be honest, we have the talent, we just need to show it. Speaking of talent, we're sitting here with Scotty once again, and he has 2 rounds at even, his first college tournament, showing some poise as a freshman. But just walk us through your round and what went well.
I was hitting it good. Hit it a lot better than I did yesterday. But I just made more putts yesterday, which is probably why my score is about the same. Even though I felt like I played way better today. A little disappointed with my score because I was 3 under through I think 11 holes today. Took advantage of the par 5 and made a great putt on 17 for birdie. But then I just one bad swing and doubled. That course can get you kind of like that. And then, from there, played 1 over in and tried to even. But, I mean, it's not a bad round at all, but, Yeah. It could have been much better, just like the whole team. Pretty much just like how the whole team played.
That about wraps it up. I mean, we just need to be more focused and let those mental mistakes, cut down to the minimum and not cause us as many strokes.
Thanks, David. Well, that's all the time we have for you tonight. On behalf of Nick Charbonnier and everyone here at the Beaver Sports Show, I'm Boon Kruger. Hope you have a great night, and we'll see you back here next week.